When your colleagues come and support you like this. I can't tell you, it touches me. Kim has been a close friend of mine, and have him here, and to have you all here. I really, really appreciate it to have you all out here supporting us. Young and I will not forget that. And I want to thank Gabe, who's offering up his facility. And I want to thank the workers back there. I already told them, I said, when I was in the military, the generals would come and we had to clean up the hangar. I was an aircraft mechanic in the beginning, and we'd always complain, VIPs coming in here, taking up all our time. We got work to do. And so I know what you're going through, and I appreciate you guys setting aside some time and letting us bring our campaign right here to where you work. So thank you all for that. And it's great to be in such a historic place. I know our president, Donald Trump, was here. I feel like this might be the same podium, and I can feel the vibes here from Trump. I hope it is. I'm roughly near the place where he stood and talked not that long ago. I have to say it is sad that we've lost a third of our manufacturing jobs, which is the result of poor government policies and burdensome regulations. And that's what our president's going to try to fix. I always believed, I know, our workers can compete with anybody in the world. But we got to get government off our backs, and get government off the backs of our workers, and we can show the world what we can do. We've done it before, and we'll do it again. And to help do that, we've got to reduce the tax rate so that companies can compete worldwide. So I'm here today because I believe our country is in peril because of poor leadership. We elected a new president to place us on the right track, but the work is not done. And how about our new president? You still glad we got Donald Trump in there? He's doing a great job, but the work is not done. Our political culture is upside down in this country. You see it in the news every day. We're governed by selfishness and greed today. It's just that it's hard for hardworking people to see what's going on at the national level. I'll give you just a couple of examples of our culture and why it's upside down. While our veterans have served honorably and can't even receive proper health care, some of them dying waiting for an appointment to get into the VA. A traitor, the WikiLeaks traitor, Bradley Manning, got free health care in prison and then was pardoned by President Obama. Now that's upside down where I come from. How about you?
Yep.
We used to value free speech in our country, but today our youth are being taught to silence speech. Recently at the University of California, Berkeley, you probably saw in the news when there was a guest speaker and they disagreed, when the students disagreed with what the guest speaker was going to say, they burned down the college. Those aren't the values that made America great. And we've got to change this kind of political culture. So clearly our job's not over. We still have a little house cleaning to do. Senator Bob Casey is a remnant of that liberal philosophy that's helped create this mess. And he's up there right now, and you see in the news every day, he's undermining and subverting everything that President Trump is trying to do. He's part of that group that's undermining and subverting, actually sabotaging what the president is trying to do, what we elected him to do. He's voted against many of the president's cabinet picks. Just yesterday, he voted against Ben Carson. He said he's unqualified. And unfortunately, Bob Casey might be one of the least qualified senators we have up there. It's ironic that he would vote to say that Ben Carson is unqualified. But he did. And unfortunately, he will vote against President Trump's Supreme Court nomination that's coming up, Neil Gorsuch. He's a fine man. And Bob Casey will vote against every one of President Trump's Supreme Court nominations, conservatives that we want in there, that will uphold the Constitution. He's allowed our military to be depleted and our veterans to be neglected. And I know we got some veterans in the room. Where are you, vets? He's abandoned his father's zeal for the unborn, and he's become a supporter of Planned Parenthood. Any pro-lifers in this room? He stood silent while the government attacked our energy industry, coal and natural gas. He's done nothing for small business. He has a 20% small business rating. I've been proclaimed the champion of small business by that same organization. He's refused to defend the assault on our religious liberty. He's betrayed our Second Amendment and betrayed the voters who sent him to Washington. Bob Casey must be replaced. That's why I stand here today to announce my candidacy for the United States Senate. People often ask me, why do you want to run? Why did you run in the first place? Why do you want to run for this? Why do you want to get into this? I got a half funny story I want to share with you to give you an idea about how this fits into my whole life. As you know, I'm a retired military officer. throughout my career, I always seem to get the assignments nobody wanted. Those vets here, if you had some military service, you might have had the same experience. I never seemed to be assigned to units that were running smooth. I always seemed to be sent to the places no one wanted to go. Well, I retired from the military and I went into business thinking that that would be the end of it. It wasn't long after that, though, that I received a call. They said, Rick, we're having some troubles up in North Korea. The North Korean nuclear power plant project that we were working on, it's not going so well. It's in turmoil up there. No one wants to go up there and work on it. With all your experience in South Korea, and I spent many years in South Korea, they said, it seems like you'd be the man for the job. How about going up there? Just see what you can do, they said. I said, well, it's pretty interesting. So I went to North Korea, and it was rough. I was the only American living in North Korea, and I was there during 9/11. The only American there. It's another story I can tell you about some other time. That was kind of interesting being the only American there. North Koreans are tough negotiators. It took me a while to understand them, but I eventually learned how to deal with them and achieved great success there. I returned back home after a year, and I wrote 2 books about that experience. Came back home, finished my PhD, went back to teaching at St. Vincent College. Then the war in Iraq broke out. When things started to go sour, I got a call asking if I would like to go back to Iraq. I thought that with my experience in counterintelligence, I might be able to help some of the many young soldiers we had there that needed some more senior experience. I went to Baghdad, and they don't tell you when you're going to Iraq, they don't tell you where you're going to be in Iraq. They just say, come to Baghdad, and we'll give you your assignment when you get there. So I arrived in Baghdad, and I was waiting for my assignment, and it was right after the Abu Ghraib prison scandal, right? You all remember that a number of years back. The leadership, I was sitting around waiting for my assignment, and the leadership approached me, and they said, well, Rick, things aren't going so well over at Abu Ghraib prison. It was a wretched place housing the worst of the worst terrorists. And they said, with the scandal and all that going on over there, no one really wants to go over there. How about you? Would you be willing to go over there and work at the prison? Just see what you can do. I thought, well, it is the most famous prison in the world, and the worst of the worst terrorists are there. And, I like to be in the middle of a good fight. I'm from the Mon Valley. We know how to fight in the Mon Valley. Is that right? I said, all right, I'll go to Abu Ghraib prison. So I went to Abu Ghraib, and it was a wretched place. But I worked hard, and we made great success there. I wasn't there long, though, because an insurgent walked into the dining hall up in Mosul, blew himself up, and killed 20 of our soldiers and injured 60. You might remember that, and made international news. Sometime after that, the leadership approached me, and they said, well, Rick, you're doing great down at the prison, but we got this trouble up in Mosul. We're still having trouble in Mosul. Remember, we took Mosul, Obama gave it back, and now we're trying to take Mosul back for the Iraqi people. So they came to me and said, Rick, we're having trouble up in Mosul. They have a handle on most of Iraq, but Mosul's the place where people are still getting killed. No one wants to go up there. Would you be willing to go up there and help restore order to the bases? Just see what you can do. So I went to Mosul, and I had to fire a lot of people, but I built a solid team. And over the rest of that year, we turned around the situation, making it one of the safest bases in Iraq. We went from worst to best. And we saved a lot of lives along the way. I'm proud of that. I came home and I wrote a book about it. And then I returned to teaching at St. Vincent College. And then there was Harrisburg. It seemed like a real mess. Liberals ran the state house. Our Second Amendment rights were under assault. We hadn't passed the budget on time in years, and no one could get a handle on the spending. We actually had a couple dozen legislators that were under indictment. While no one said the actual words to me, I felt the call of someone saying, Rick, can you go up there and just see what you can do? Clean up that mess. Well, I answered that call, and along with a lot of my colleagues that are standing here right now, I went to Harrisburg, and we worked with other legislators to clean up the mess. No retreat, no pulling back, no compromising our values, because I knew we have the people of Pennsylvania behind us. He's still with us. We balanced the budget 6 times, on time, no tax increases, no borrowing. We drug test welfare recipients. I still get high fives from that back home. We passed tort reform and unemployment compensation reform. We passed legislation to shrink the size of the legislature, and I introduced a bill for term limits. We toughened penalties for sexual offenders, other criminals. We passed the castle doctrine so you can lawfully defend yourself in your own home. We're working on property tax reform and the broken pension system. We started privatizing the liquor stores finally after 40 years of trying to do it. We're getting there. And we passed strong legislation to protect the unborn. We've done a lot. now there's Washington, D.C. 8 years of an extreme progressive agenda running rampant, destroying our country. Obamacare, the VA scandals, the rise of ISIS. It's been a mess for so long, people have almost given up. President Trump was elected to go drain the swamp, and I want to help him. We'll set the country back on the right course, and then I'll come home. Oh, there's going to be a lot of naysayers, I know. It just like reminds me of the biblical story of the Israelites trying to enter into the Promised Land. If you remember that story, they sent 12 scouts into the Promised Land. 10 of them came back and they said, oh, we can't go. We can't go into the Promised Land. We can't take it. We can't win. There are giants in the land. We're like little grasshoppers among them. We can't win. Only 2 scouts would stand up and say, we can do this. There's a parallel between that and this campaign today, because I hear a lot of people out there saying, oh, Rick, you can't win. Bob Casey's, his name's too well known, and there are giants in the land. You just can't take them. We can't win. You're up against the odds are too great. Let me tell you something, folks. These people may cast long shadows. They're not giants. Bob Casey's no giant. They're small figures, and you're going to see that when we shed the light of truth upon them, and that's coming. We're going to do that real soon. Today, many of our leaders are weak. We know some of our leaders don't fully support the new agenda that we elected last November. Your agenda. Even our own leaders don't support it. Trump's in trouble because of that. We need a leader who will fight alongside our president. I will be that leader. I will be his backup. You know, many in the establishment, they still think they pick who governs over us. They'll try to cut deals at your expense. But we know it's the people who pick who governs us. We just proved that in November, right? People like you, regular people, hardworking people, people who want the government to work for them. That's who decides who will be the next U.S. Senator. And we need you to stand up and be heard. You have to come back just like you did for Donald Trump. You need to come back and stand up for this election just like you did in November. You ready to fight for your liberty? Yeah. Are you with me? Yeah. Yep. I won't be able to do it without it. I'll end with my favorite quote from Abraham Lincoln. And I use it often because I actually try to live by it. Abraham Lincoln said, I like a man to be proud of the place he lives. I like a man to live so his place is proud of him. I'm proud of my community. I'm proud of my state. And I'm proud of my country. And I hope I'll make you proud of me as your next U.S. Senator. Stay with me and we'll win. God bless you and God bless America. Thanks for having me.